From the moment you close your eyes and invite a new reality into your mind, you step into the workshop of creation. Imagine for a moment that you own an artist's palette filled not with oils or acrylics, but with the raw pigments of possibility, hope, excitement, gratitude, confidence. As you swirl these colors together in the theater of your imagination, you begin to craft a living scene that feels as vibrant and tangible as any physical landscape. Picture yourself waking on your first day at your dream job, the gentle hum of your computer booty, the soft click of your polished shoes on the office floor, the warmth of a genuine greeting from a colleague who already respects your talent. Let every sense come alive in that inner movie. Feel the smoothness of your desk's surface beneath your fingertips. Hear the encouraging words of your new manager. Taste the celebratory coffee that marks your ownership of this fresh opportunity. This is no idle daydream. It is the blueprint by which your subconscious mind begins to orchestrate the outer world. As you rehearse this scene each morning and evening, notice how your body responds. Perhaps you feel a gentle flutter in your stomach or a subtle expansion in your chest, as though your heart recognizes this future success as an old friend. These physiological responses are the language of your inner self, confirming that your mental images carry genuine weight. When you cultivate these sensations with deliberate attention, you transform imagination from a passive pastime into an active instrument of change. Every time you relish the feeling of accomplishment, every time you savor the pride and calm certainty that come with knowing your new role, you reinforce the neural pathways that align your mind with this desired outcome. In this sense, imagination becomes more than visualization. It becomes a sacred rehearsal for real-world achievement. Educational studies in neuroscience now affirm what ancient mystics intuited long ago. The brain often cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and reality. Just as athletes mentally rehearse their performance to sharpen reflexes, you too are training your mind to recognize and respond to the circumstances you envision. By regularly engaging in this practice, you enhance your creative faculties, building mental muscles that bridge the gap between thought and manifestation. You are effectively programming your subconscious to search for opportunities that match the inner script you've crafted. Interviews, job listings, networking conversations, each begins to take on new meaning as you recognize them as stepping stones rather than obstacles. It is crucial, however, to approach this discipline with sincerity rather than wishful thinking. True imagination work is not an escape from reality. It is an invitation to infuse your present with the energy of your desired future. If doubts or skepticism arise, welcome them as signals to refine your mental movie. To inject it with more clarity, more emotion, consider writing out a brief narrative of your imagined day at your new job, using the past tense as though it had already happened. Describe how you felt upon receiving the email offering you the position, the words that coursed through your mind, the pride you held in being chosen. By articulating these details in writing, you reinforce the sensory richness of your mental scene and cement its influence on your subconscious beliefs. Consistency is the lifeblood of this process. A single visualization may lift your spirits, but it is the regular, heartfelt return to your inner theater that transforms dreams into lived experience. Set aside moments each day, perhaps 5 minutes before breakfast and 5 minutes before sleep, to close your eyes, breathe deeply, and step into your imagined reality. Keep these sessions free from distraction. Silence your phone, dim the lights, and treat them as sacred appointments with your own higher self. Over time, you will notice subtle shifts, ideas for tailoring your resume, serendipitous LinkedIn messages, unexpected referrals from friends or acquaintances who seem poised to guide you toward your new role. These external cues are the echoes of your internal work manifesting in tangible form. Remember also that your imagination is a conduit for emotion. Don't merely see the scenes, feel them. Let genuine gratitude and joy wash over you as though you have already crossed the threshold into your new workplace. If enthusiasm wells up, allow it full expression. If gratitude stirs tears, permit them. These are the signals that your heart recognizes the vision as truth. In time, the boundary between your imagined state and your waking life will blur, and you will find yourself carrying the same assurance and energy into every conversation, interview, and task. Your confidence will no longer be borrowed. It will be earned through the deep inner knowing that you are already where you intend to be. Finally, understand that this practice is both an art and a science, a blend of creative reverie and disciplined training. As you master the use of imagination, you harness a universal principle that governs every innovation. every act of creation. By nurturing your mental scenes with clarity, emotion, and persistence, you align with the natural flow of manifestation. And so, each time you enter that silent chamber behind your closed eyelids, you are not merely daydreaming. You are stepping onto the canvas of your own becoming, painting the contours of a new professional life and setting in motion the unseen forces that will bring your heartfelt desires into the light of day. From the moment you decide to welcome a new reality into your life, emotion becomes the invisible architect that builds your future experience. It is one thing to picture yourself seated at your dream desk. It is another thing entirely to feel the surge of appreciation and joy as though that moment has already arrived. True feeling does not mimic reality, it summons it. Imagine then the profound effect of cultivating genuine gratitude for a role you have yet to occupy. Not the superficial thank you uttered as a courtesy, but the deep, sincere warmth that fills your entire being when you give thanks as though your first day has already unfolded. Begin by tuning into the subtle cues your body offers. You might notice the soft tightening in your chest when you recall the triumph of being chosen, or a gentle flutter in your stomach as you mentally rehearse walking through the company doors. These physical sensations are your soul's recognition of the vision you hold. Rather than dismissing them as fanciful daydreaming, treat them as the lifeblood of your creative process. Each time you lean into that grateful vibration, you send a message to every cell in your body that your desired outcome is already in motion. To deepen this process, integrate simple daily rituals that anchor your feelings in the present moment. A gratitude journal need not be limited to recounting past blessings. Instead, dedicate a section each morning and evening to writing down 10 things you are thankful for regarding your future position. Describe the crisp signature on your employment contract, the encouraging nod from a team leader, the sense of purpose that charges each hour of your workday. Write these entries as if they have already transpired, using the past tense. I am so grateful that I walked confidently into the office. Or I felt such pride as I introduced myself to my new colleagues. By doing so, you reinforce the emotional truth of your imagined success, embedding it more firmly into your subconscious landscape. Science now tells us that when we experience gratitude, even in anticipation, our brains release dopamine and serotonin, the very neurotransmitters linked with happiness and motivation. This neurological reward not only elevates your mood, but also fortifies the neural circuits that seek out experiences matching this internal state. In other words, your brain begins to search your environment for external evidence of that for which you have already given thanks. A chance conversation at a networking event, an online ad for a job that perfectly aligns with your vision, an unexpected referral from a friend. These synchronicities multiply as you nurture a heartfelt attitude of appreciation. But authentic feeling requires more than mere repetition. It demands sincerity. If you find yourself going through the motions, pause and reflect on whether the images you are conjuring truly move you. If they feel flat, inject them with more vivid detail, or draw upon personal memories of past achievements to recall the exhilaration you once felt. Perhaps you remember the glow of pride when you received an award, or the warmth of connection when colleagues celebrated your success. Use those genuine recollections as fuel to power your future gratitude. By bridging past triumphs with future aspirations, you weave a tapestry of emotion that carries you across the threshold from imagination to reality. In cultivating this emotional practice, be gentle with yourself. Doubt may creep in, those familiar voices that whisper, "Is this really possible?" or "What if I fail again?" When such thoughts arise, acknowledge them without judgment and then return your focus to the feeling you wish to embody. Imagine those doubts as clouds drifting across the sky of your consciousness, visible but not powerful enough to obscure the sun of your intention. With each breath, let the light of gratitude shine through, dispelling the shadows of uncertainty and reaffirming your inner knowing that the opportunity you seek is already your own. To further cement these feelings, surround yourself with ambient cues that reinforce your future reality. Choose a physical object, a pen, a stone, or a small framed photo that symbolizes your new job. Place it where you will see it often, on your desk, by your bedside, or even carried in your pocket. Each time your gaze or touch lands on this talisman, pause for a moment to summon the feeling of accomplishment and gratitude. Let that sensation wash over you, even if only for a few seconds. These micro practices accumulate, layering your emotional landscape with the textures of your imagined success. Another powerful method is to share your vision with supportive friends or mentors, not as a plea for validation, but as an affirmation of your anticipated reality. When you speak of your new position with genuine enthusiasm, you invite others to respond in kind, strengthening the frequency of your intention. Their positive reactions become echoes of the feeling you have already cultivated within, amplifying its resonance in the collective field of your aspirations. Be mindful, however, to choose confidants who genuinely root for your growth, for naysayers can unintentionally dampen the spark of your gratitude. As you practice, observe how your daily actions begin to align naturally with your emotional state. You might feel compelled to research industry trends, refine your resume, or refine your skills, not out of desperation, but out of joyful participation in the unfolding narrative you have authored. Each step, no matter how small, feels congruent with the person you already perceive yourself to be. Proactive, confident, and worthy of your desired position. This harmonious union of feeling and action creates a momentum that carries you forward, often revealing opportunities you had not anticipated. Above all, remember that feeling is the secret currency of manifestation. It is less important how quickly the outer world responds than it is crucial that your inner world remains clear, consistent, and vibrant. Even if circumstances appear stagnant, your unwavering gratitude sustains the creative process beneath the surface. Trust that every moment spent nurturing genuine emotion contributes to the invisible architecture of your success. Over time, the moment will arrive when the outer world matches the inner vision, and you will recognize it as the natural consequence of having felt your way into a new professional life. From the moment you become aware of the words that flow from your lips, you step into the alchemical realm where language shapes reality. Consider for a moment how a single phrase can shift the atmosphere of a room. A simple thank you can soften tension. A heartfelt "I believe in you" can ignite confidence. And a confident "I accept this opportunity" can set unseen forces in motion. In the workshop of creation, every utterance is a seed cast into the fertile soil of consciousness. And what you speak repeatedly is what your mind begins to cultivate. When you speak of your career aspirations, do so with the conviction of one who has already arrived. Instead of confessing worries, "I hope I get an interview," "I'm afraid I'm not qualified." Choose declarations that affirm your desired outcome as the present reality. "I'm grateful for the interview invitation. I bring unique talents that this company values." These declarations are not empty platitudes, but intentional broadcasts that tune your subconscious to the frequency of success. As your inner dialogue evolves, notice how your external life begins to mirror the elevated narrative you craft through words. Imagine your speech as the conductor's baton guiding a symphony of circumstances. When you consistently speak of opportunity, doors that once seemed closed begin to creak open. Colleagues mention openings at their firms, recruiters appear in your inbox, and casual conversations transform into meaningful networking needs. Each of these moments is a response, not to your resume alone, but to the sustained tone of expectation you have set in motion through language. Your spoken words, undergirded by sincere feeling, become the invisible architects that draw the blueprint of your professional landscape. It is essential, however, to align your tone with the substance of your words. Enthusiasm without authenticity rings hollow, and overused buzzwords lose their potency. Instead, infuse your expressions with the genuine cadence of your own voice. If you feel excitement when you speak of your next role, let that excitement color your speech. If you sense calm assurance, allow your words to carry that steady timbre. In doing so, you invite your subconscious to respond not to rote affirmations, but to the living truth of your inner state. The more congruent your words and feelings, the more effortlessly the universe responds. Pay close attention to the small, seemingly inconsequential statements you make throughout the day. When asked, "How's the job search going?" replace habitual venting with constructive reports of progress. "I'm seeing great leads that match my vision," or "I'm grateful for the positive responses I've been receiving." Over time, these micro declarations accumulate, interweaving into a tapestry of expectation and attracting evidence to confirm your spoken narrative. Your mind begins to filter out discordant data. Rejections or setbacks become mere footnotes rather than defining chapters, because your predominant dialogue is one of triumphant arrival. Of course, there will be moments when doubt creeps into casual chatter, when the temptation to commiserate with fear feels strong. In these instances, catch yourself mid-sentence and gently pivot. If you catch a phrase like, "I'm not sure they'll choose me," simply pause, take a breath, and reframe, "I trust they recognize my value." This simple redirection severs any negative thought patterns and reestablishes your creative command. Think of this practice as the art of conversational alchemy, turning leaden worries into golden affirmations with a swift flick of your tongue. A powerful technique to reinforce the creative power of your words is to record them in writing. Begin a journal or digital document where you transcribe positive declarations as though they are news headlines. New position confirmed with global consulting firm. I celebrate my first day as lead designer. Write each headline in the past tense, as if the event has already unfolded. By doing so, you engage both the creative muscle of speech and the analytical clarity of writing, doubling the impact on your subconscious blueprint. Revisiting these written declarations daily ensures that your mind remains attuned to the reality you are scripting. Beyond personal affirmations, consider the impact of public declarations. Sharing your vision on a professional platform, perhaps a LinkedIn post, expressing your excitement for new challenges serves a dual purpose. First, it amplifies your own sense of commitment, signaling to your subconscious that you are fully invested. Second, it broadcasts your intention to a wider network, inviting like-minded individuals and opportunities to emerge. When you articulate your goals with authenticity, you activate the social dimension of manifestation, calling forth collaborators, mentors, and unexpected allies. It is also instructive to observe the language used by those who have already achieved what you desire. Notice how confident leaders speak of their work. They often use terms of ownership. I lead, I design, I innovate. Borrow their linguistic patterns, adapting them to your own story. By modeling these word choices, you tap into a reservoir of collective success consciousness, accelerating your alignment with the professional identity you seek, yet remain mindful to preserve your unique voice. Authenticity is the currency of lasting influence. As you refine your inner and outer conversations, you may wonder how to sustain this practice amid the demands of daily life. Create gentle reminders. A note on your mirror that reads, "Speak your success." A phone alert each afternoon prompting, "Declare your victory," to nudge you back on track. These cues need not be elaborate. Even a simple sticky note can serve as a beacon, drawing your attention to the power at your disposal each time you speak. Over weeks and months, these moments of mindfulness build an unshakable habit, anchoring your words firmly in the soil of your creative intent. Finally, remember that the spoken word is both a sword and a plowshare. It cuts through doubt and cultivates fertile ground for opportunity. Each time you align your utterances with the reality you wish to experience, you engage in the sacred act of co-creation. Speak as though your dream job is already in hand. Nurture each declaration with heartfelt belief and watch as the unseen scaffolding of circumstance assembles to bring your ideal position into view. In this dance between language and life, you discover that your words are not mere sounds, but the very threads from which reality is woven. From the moment you decide that your goal is already achieved, your entire approach to life shifts from striving to embodying. Picture yourself walking into a meeting room not as an applicant, but as an integral team member whose insights shape the company's future. Feel the ease in your stride, the calm clarity in your thoughts, the genuine warmth of your smile as colleagues greet you by name. By consciously adopting the posture, tone, and energy of someone who has already secured the position, you bypass the inner resistance that often accompanies wishful thinking. You step directly into the reality you desire, signaling to every part of your being that there is nothing to wait for. Your success is already here. Embodying the end means aligning your daily choices with the identity of your fulfilled self. When you wake each morning, ask yourself, what would I do today if I already held my dream role? Perhaps you would prepare differently for meetings, prioritizing creativity over caution. Maybe you would invest in a new piece of professional attire or arrange your workspace with intention, placing tools and images that reflect the responsibilities you now own. These outward expressions are powerful because they root your inner conviction in tangible action. Each small adjustment echoes the confidence of someone who belongs, reinforcing the message to your subconscious mind that your desired state is not a future possibility, but your present truth. Educational psychology tells us that behavior often precedes belief, that when you act as if something is true, your mind eventually follows suit. Actors leverage this principle when they become a character by adopting their gestures and attitudes before delivering a single line. You too can harness this dynamic by practicing the habits and rituals of your future professional self. If someone in your envisioned position reads industry journals each morning, cultivate that habit now. If they attend networking breakfasts, Find local events and introduce yourself with the poise of a valued colleague. Over time, these repeated behaviors weave new neural pathways, making the mindset of your success automatic rather than aspirational. Living in the end also extends to your decision-making processes. When presented with choices whether to apply for a certain job level, to negotiate salary, or to speak up in a discussion, view each option through the lens of someone who has already secured the role. Would you shy away from asking for what you deserve, or would you articulate your value boldly and respectfully? This perspective shift transforms uncertain leaps of faith into confident steps, because you operate from a place of assumed authority. Decisions that once felt risky now feel natural, as though you are simply navigating the familiar landscape of responsibilities you already inhabit. Another illustrative practice is to curate your environment to reflect the reality you intend to live. Surround yourself with visual cues that reinforce your professional identity. Photographs of leaders in your field, inspirational quotes that speak to your expertise, or tools of the trade that symbolize your daily contributions. These intentional details act as anchors, continually reminding your conscious and unconscious mind of the status you have assumed. As you move through your day, each glance at these cues reinforces your belonging, making the imagined experience more immediate and real. Emotion plays a subtle yet critical role in this process. When you behave as if your dream has come true, you naturally evoke feelings of pride, gratitude, and satisfaction. Notice how your posture lifts, how your voice carries steadiness, how your thoughts flow with certainty. These feelings are not superficial. They are the byproduct of living from the end point of your journey. Embrace them fully. Allow yourself to feel the contentment of a job well begun, the joy of productive collaboration, the excitement of meaningful responsibilities. By savoring these emotions in the present moment, you strengthen the bridge between inner conviction and external manifestation. Consistency is key. Just as athletes train daily to maintain peak performance, you must routinely practice living from your fulfilled state. Choose specific times, perhaps first thing in the morning and just before bed, to consciously step into your imagined role. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and relive a scene in your mind where you operate with full confidence. Listen to the tone of your voice as you present ideas. Feel the handshake that seals your contribution. Observe the environment around you as though it is the everyday backdrop of your life. Regular rehearsal solidifies the assumption as your dominant reality, making doubt increasingly untenable. You may wonder how to maintain this mindset when external circumstances appear contrary. An expected interview falls through, a networking contact is unresponsive, or a setback arises. In those moments, gently remind yourself that living in the end is an inner stance, independent of outer fluctuations. Recall that the historical record is strewn with stories of breakthroughs emerging after perceived failures. Each setback can be reframed as evidence that the universe is clearing obstacles to make way for a stronger, more resilient realization of your goal. By holding fast to your assumed state, you remain steady, while external currents shift around you. Finally, observe how living from your desired end naturally magnetizes alignment. Opportunities begin to present themselves, not because you chase them, but because your energetic signature matches the reality you have claimed. Recruiters notice your authentic confidence. Mentors gravitate toward your clarity, and scenarios that once felt distant now unfold organically. In that seamless rapport between inner assumption and outer experience, you recognize the essence of manifestation, not as a frantic pursuit, but as the art of simply becoming the person who already has the job. When your consciousness dwells in the state of fulfillment, the world rearranges itself to mirror your inner conviction, and the dream you have lived within your mind steps gracefully into your waking life. From the moment you learn to harness the power of your mental director's chair, you discover a profound tool for transformation, the art of revision. Consider how often memories of past setbacks, interview rejections, missed opportunities, unkind words rise unbidden in your mind, coloring your present with shades of doubt and regret. Each recollection carries emotional weight that subtly informs your beliefs about what you deserve. Yet those memories are not unchangeable archives. They are living tapes you can replay and re-edit. By consciously revisiting these events in your imagination and directing them toward outcomes that serve your growth, you rewrite the narrative of your past and clear the path for an empowered future. Imagine sitting quietly, eyes closed, and bringing to mind a painful moment. Perhaps the day you awaited a call from a prospective employer that never came. Feel the original sting of anticipation turning into disappointment. Now pause the scene and introduce a new sequence. See yourself receiving the call, hearing words of genuine interest, and sensing the thrill of being invited to the next stage. Notice how your body responds as this revised scene unfolds, a softening in your chest, a spark of relief warming your breath. These physiological shifts signal that your subconscious is accepting this rewritten memory as more vivid, perhaps even more real than the original. Unwittingly, your mind begins to treat this new version as the blueprint for coming experiences. Educational psychology supports this practice through the concept of memory reconsolidation. Researchers have discovered that when we recall an event, the memory becomes malleable for a short window before it settles again. By carefully infusing the recalled scene with new positive details and emotions, you not only alter your relationship to the past, but also change the mental structures that influence future perception and behavior. In simple terms, when you revise a memory of failure into one of success, your subconscious mind no longer regards that failure as a defining barrier. Instead, it treats the new success-oriented script as the operative version, guiding you toward corresponding opportunities in the real world. To practice revision effectively, choose one memory at a time and create a comfortable setting for your inner work. Perhaps you sit in a favorite armchair, wear soft clothing, or light a candle to signal to your body and mind that you're stepping into a creative space. As you recall the original event, allow yourself to feel the emotions, acknowledging any lingering discomfort without resistance. Once you've fully experienced the old scene, gently shift the outcome. Don't rush this step. Savor each moment as if you're watching a play unfold before you. Introduce details that signify success. An approving nod from the interviewer, the smile of a supportive friend, the letter arriving in your mailbox. As you immerse yourself in these new details, your mind registers them with the same sensory fidelity as actual experiences. Consistency magnifies the power of revision. A single session may soften the edges of a negative memory, but regular practice entrenches the revised version into your inner registry. Schedule brief revision sessions, perhaps 5 or 10 minutes each evening before sleep, when your mind is most receptive. Over nights of gentle rewiring, you will notice your self-talk shifting. Doubts that once surfaced now dissolve quickly, replaced by a quiet confidence rooted in your new inner story. Doors you once viewed as shut begin to creak open, because your expectations have realigned with the success you've rehearsed in your imagination. Incorporate supportive techniques from the wider field of cognitive transformation to deepen your revision work. Journaling, for instance, can serve as an external record of your revised memories. Write the new version of the event in past tense, describing how it unfolded and how you felt. This reinforces the mental imagery with the analytical clarity of words on a page. You might even compose a brief letter to your past self, expressing compassion for the original hurt and gratitude for the strength you gained through this revision. Such written artifacts become touchstones you can revisit, reminding you that your past has been lovingly reframed to serve your present aspirations. One common concern is whether revising memories amounts to self-deception. Yet the aim is not to ignore genuine lessons from past experiences, but to shift your focus from limitations to possibilities. By rewriting the script, you honor the underlying message that you are capable of growth and success, while releasing the emotional entanglement that held you back. In this sense, revision becomes an act of self-compassion, a way to reclaim your creative authority and affirm that your inner world is the source from which your outer life flows. As you master this technique, you will find yourself more resilient in the face of new challenges. When a fresh disappointment arises, you'll instinctively employ revision to neutralize its sting, preventing it from lingering as a stumbling block. Your mental landscape will become a fluid canvas on which you paint scenes of triumph and possibility, each reinforcing the idea that you are the author of your experience. And because every revision primes your subconscious to seek evidence of your newly imagined outcomes, you will begin to notice synchronicities, calls, messages, chance meetings that echo the success you have crafted in your mind's eye. Ultimately, the art of revision teaches you that your past need not dictate your future. By intentionally replaying and reauthoring pivotal moments, you free yourself from the gravitational pull of old disappointments and realign with the career success you deeply desire. In this ongoing dialogue between memory and imagination, you harness the transformative force that propels you toward your dream job, an invisible yet undeniable current that carries your aspirations from the realm of thought into the landscape of lived reality. In your journey toward a new career chapter, you need not walk alone. You can draw strength and insight from those who have explored the hidden realms of mind and spirit before you. Take, for instance, the work of Joseph Murphy, who illuminated the remarkable power of your subconscious mind. He taught that beneath the surface chatter of conscious thought lies a vast reservoir of creative intelligence, ever ready to translate your dominant beliefs into tangible outcomes. When you consciously feed this inner domain with vivid images of success, moments when you hold your offer letter, share a celebratory handshake, or immerse yourself in a sense of achievement, you effectively plant seeds in fertile soil. Your subconscious mind, ever obedient to the impressions you impress upon it, begins to cultivate circumstances that mirror your inner convictions. In practical terms, this means that as you drift to sleep each night, you might softly whisper to yourself, "My dream job is mine now," allowing that statement to echo in the silent halls of your deeper awareness. Over time, those whispered affirmations embed themselves so deeply that your mind seeks out opportunities and aligns you with people and situations that bring your vision into form. Equally transformative is the wisdom of Florence Scovel Shinn, whose metaphor of words as seeds offers a simple yet profound practice. Imagine each sentence that leaves your lips as a tiny grain cast into the field of reality. If you sow words of lack, "I'm struggling to find work," you nurture weeds of doubt that choke your ambitions. Instead, choose language that reflects your desired harvest. "I joyfully accept my new position," or "I am in the perfect role for my talents." Speak these phrases with warmth and certainty, as though you conversed with an old friend. In doing so, you align your spoken world with your imagined scenario, and the energies you release return to you multiplied, sprouting the very circumstances you have described. You can enhance this practice by carrying a small notebook in which you record your positive declarations throughout the day, treating each entry as an intentional planting of your future reality. Another guiding light in this constellation of thinkers is Emmett Fox, who underscored the importance of forgiveness and release in manifestation work. If you find yourself clinging to past disappointments, interview setbacks, critical remarks, or self-doubt, practice a simple forgiveness ritual. Close your eyes and visualize letting go of each negative memory as though you were placing it in a balloon that floats gently away. As you release it, feel your spirit lighten, making room for fresh inspiration and confidence. Folks taught that by forgiving past errors, whether yours or those of others, you clear emotional blockages that impede the flow of creative energy. Freed from the weight of old stories, you move forward with an unburdened heart, ready to embrace the new opportunities that your imagination has already set into motion. From William Walker Atkinson, you can borrow a lesson in mental discipline. He encouraged practitioners to cultivate a single-minded focus, reminding them that a mind scattered across too many desires seldom yields in any one direction. To apply this, choose one clear, concise mental goal, your envisioned job, and set aside any secondary wishes until that main aspiration has taken root. Each morning, dedicate a few meaningful minutes to centering your thoughts on this primary aim, banishing distractions, like a gardener weeding around the seedling of your dream. This disciplined focus intensifies the signal you send to the subconscious, ensuring that all your inner resources concentrate on manifesting the role you seek. To enrich these practices further, explore the work of Charles Harnell, whose treatise on the law of attraction breaks down the mechanics of thought and magnetic energy. He describes your mind as a transmitter and receiver. The clearer and more coherent your inner broadcast, the stronger the frequency you emit into the world. As you refine your mental patterns, by visualizing, feeling, and speaking as though you already hold your ideal position, you amplify the signal that draws matching circumstances back to you. It's akin to tuning a radio to a specific station. The more precisely you dial in, the crisper the reception becomes. Each of these pioneers offers not merely theory, but a toolkit of exercises you can integrate into your daily routine. You might begin with Murphy's nightly affirmations, follow with Shinn's midday declarations, then practice Fox's forgiveness ritual in the late afternoon, and finish with Atkinson's focused visualization before bed. By weaving these methods into a cohesive tapestry, you create a multifaceted approach that engages your mind, emotions, and speech in harmonious collaboration. Remember, though, that the greatest teacher resides within. Use these external voices as mentors who guide you toward deeper self-trust. Notice which practices resonate most in your body and spirit, and feel free to adapt them, perhaps infusing your own meaningful symbols, music, or movement to make the process uniquely yours. Over time, you'll discover that the principles underlying their teachings are universal. What you imagine, feel, and speak with conviction invariably shapes the world around you. In embracing this lineage of thought, you honor a tradition that spans continents and centuries. Metaphysicians and psychologists alike, who understood that the unseen architecture of mind precedes the visible edifice of circumstance. By aligning your inner landscape with the vision of your dream job, you step into that grand current of creative intelligence, where each inspired thought, each heartfelt emotion, and each intentional word collaborates to bring your aspirations from the realm of imagination into the vivid reality you deserve. From the moment you embrace persistence as your companion, the act of creating your desired reality transforms from a fleeting exercise into a lifelong rhythm. Picture a sculptor at work, returning day after day to the marble block, each tap of the chisel revealing more of the final form. In the same way, your imagination and emotion are the tools you wield against the raw stone of circumstance. When you commit to regular sessions, perhaps 5 or 10 minutes each morning before the world's noise intrudes, and again at night as the day's events settle, you establish a sacred cadence. These intervals are not burdensome chores, but invitations to reconnect with your vision, to breathe life into the silent movie playing behind your closed eyelids, and to reinforce the neural pathways that guide your subconscious toward alignment with your goals. Educational research on habit formation reveals that consistency matters far more than intensity. A single marathon visualization may thrill your spirit, but it is the steady drip of daily practice that carves deep grooves in the mind. As you build this routine, you'll notice that the initial discomfort, an intrusive thought, or wandering mind, or nagging doubt begins to diminish. Like the new gym goer whose muscles ache less after each workout, your mental muscles grow stronger, allowing you to stay centered on your desired outcome with increasing ease. Over weeks, a 5-minute morning session can become a treasured ritual, one that awakens your creativity and sets the tone for your entire day. To anchor this persistence in practicality, weave your practice into existing routines. For example, as you brew your morning cup of tea or coffee, close your eyes for a moment and replay a brief scene of your future workplace. The warmth of greeting voices, the smooth click of opening an email confirming your acceptance, the sense of pride that swells in your chest. Later, while brushing your teeth before bed, let your thoughts drift once more to the joyous handshake of your new manager, or the glow of accomplishment as you introduce yourself to colleagues. These micro practices require no extra time, only the intention to repurpose ordinary moments into portals of creation. As you maintain this rhythm, journal your experiences. A simple line each day: I felt calm certainty as I visualized my new role. Or, my evening rehearsal sparked fresh ideas for my resume. Provides tangible evidence of your inner work. Reviewing these entries after a fortnight or a month reveals patterns, moments when your focus deepened, emotions that resonated most powerfully, or subtle shifts in attitude. This introspective feedback loop not only fuels your motivation, but also highlights which aspects of your practice yield the richest results. You become both participant and observer, actively shaping your routine to match your evolving needs. Human psychology tells us that the mind thrives on rewards. To reinforce your practice, celebrate small milestones. Did you manage to visualize 5 days in a row? Acknowledge yourself with genuine self-praise, or a small treat, perhaps a favorite snack, or a few minutes of leisurely reading. These celebrations need not be elaborate. Their value lies in signaling to your subconscious that consistent effort deserves recognition. In turn, your mind becomes inclined to repeat the behavior, deepening the habit. Over time, you'll find that maintaining your practice is no longer a chore, but a source of delight and anticipation, a highlight of your day rather than a duty. Persistence also means weathering the dry spells. There will be mornings when your mind feels clouded, or evenings when exhaustion tempts you to skip your rehearsal. In those moments, remember that momentum is built by showing up, even if only briefly. A single minute of focused visualization or a line in your journal can bring you back into flow. Recognize that the seeds you planted yesterday continue to germinate underground. unseen yet vital. Trust that each return to your inner workshop, no matter how humble, renews the creative current, ensuring that when conditions ripen, your outer world responds. Finally, observe how this steadfast practice transforms your daily life beyond the realm of imagination. As you habitually align your thoughts and feelings with your envisioned success, your behavior shifts. You speak with greater confidence in interviews, choose to network with enthusiasm, and notice opportunities you previously overlooked. Your imagination sessions become the compass guiding every choice, every conversation, every action. In this way, persistence is not merely repetition, it is the lifeblood of your creative endeavor, a gentle but unstoppable tide that carves new channels in the landscape of your experience until the reality you faithfully rehearsed rises to greet you. From the moment you commit your vision to the canvas of imagination, there comes a natural invitation to step back and trust the invisible hands that guide every creative process. Imagine for a moment that you are an artist who has completed a beautiful painting. After the final brushstroke, you place the work in the gallery, confident that it will find its audience. In the same way, once you have painted the vivid scene of your desired position, feeling the handshake of confirmation, hearing the words of welcome, tasting the coffee brewed in celebration, it is time to relinquish the tight grip of striving and allow the current of unfolding reality to carry your intention into form. Trust in this context is not passive resignation, but an active acknowledgement that the unseen architecture of your inner work has already begun to reshape the outer world. You reinforce this trust by maintaining a light, buoyant attitude toward your goal. Instead of poring anxiously over job listings or obsessively checking your inbox every hour, purposefully engage in activities that reflect the balance and fulfillment you associate with your new role. Take a leisurely walk in the morning, carrying with you a subtle sense of anticipation rather than desperation. Offer genuine compliments to a colleague who seems aligned with your industry. Read an inspiring article that fuels your confidence. These moments of ease remind your subconscious that you believe in the inevitability of your success, and they serve as gentle signals that your vision is trusted and respected within your own mind. Educational psychology emphasizes that obsession can create resistance. When your focus narrows to the point of strain, the creative flow can feel blocked, as though water dammed by overzealous control. By contrast, an attitude of relaxed confidence allows the current to move freely. You may still take inspired action, revising your resume, following up on promising leads, attending a webinar to sharpen your skills. But these steps are no longer driven by frantic need. Instead, they flow naturally from the place of assured fulfillment. You act in harmony with your desired outcome rather than in reaction to lack. And this alignment calls forth opportunities that mirror the ease with which you hold your inner vision. Surrendering to the process also involves detaching from timelines. It is tempting to set arbitrary deadlines, to tell yourself, I must hear back by next week, or I need to have an offer by the end of the month. Yet such self-imposed ultimatums can generate stress and impatience. Instead, cultivate a flexible mindset that recognizes time as a human construct. Affirm to yourself, my opportunity arrives in perfect timing, and mean those words with your whole being. When you liberate your desire from the constraint of the clock, you open the door to creative solutions you may not have anticipated. A sudden opening in a company you admire, an introduction to a mentor you didn't know existed, or a remote position that aligns more closely with your heart's calling than any on-campus role could have provided. One practical exercise to foster this spirit of trust is to write a letter to the universe each week, expressing gratitude for the unfolding journey rather than for a fixed outcome. In your letter, you might say, thank you for the guidance I've received this week, or I appreciate the confidence that flows through me, or I'm grateful for the unseen hands arranging my perfect position. By shifting your focus from end results to incremental blessings, you train your mind to notice progress in every corner of your life. Before long, you look back and realize that what once felt like delays was simply the universe orchestrating a path more magnificent than you had envisioned. Human experience teaches us that patience is a form of self-respect. When you trust your process, you honor the depth and richness of your inner work. You avoid the pitfalls of forced outcomes and instead allow your dream to mature organically. Imagine planting a seed. You don't dig it up every day to see if it has sprouted. You water it, give it sunlight, and then trust that beneath the surface, complex processes are at work. In the same way, give yourself permission to retreat from constant surveillance of your goal and instead immerse yourself in the everyday joys that define the professional life you have claimed. Celebrate each moment of learning at an online workshop, each connection made at a networking event, each insight gained during self-study, knowing that these small victories are watering the roots of your success. In practicing this form of surrender, remain vigilant for signs of resistance masquerading as useful worry. If you catch yourself thinking, "What if I never hear back?" Gently replace that thought with a reminder of your inner certainty. Every step I take brings me closer, or my talent and dedication are already recognized. Such gentle course corrections maintain the purity of your trust without denying the practical steps you choose to take. In this balanced approach, action and faith dance together. Your inspired efforts ripple outward, while your unwavering belief draws circumstances toward you like a magnet. Finally, reflect on the moments when your life has unfolded in unexpected but perfect ways. A chance encounter on the street, a book recommendation that changed your perspective, an unsolicited word of encouragement at just the right moment. These recollections reinforce the principle that unseen forces are perpetually at work, weaving threads of possibility into the tapestry of your experience. As you look forward to your new job, remember that those same creative currents are alive and active. By combining inspired action with relaxed trust, by holding your vision lightly yet firmly, you align yourself with the graceful flow of manifestation. And in that harmonious union between inner conviction and outer expression, you will find your dream role arriving not as a struggle one, but as a gift bestowed by the very imagination you have nurtured. As you draw this journey to a close, pause for a moment and recognize the truth you've been weaving throughout each step. Your inner world is the fertile ground from which every outer change springs. You began by painting a vivid scene in your mind's eye, infusing it with rich sensory detail until it felt as natural as waking life. You learned to anchor that vision in genuine feeling, bathing each imagined moment in gratitude so potent that your body itself remembered what true success feels like. You discovered the creative weight of your own words, realizing that every affirmation and declaration is a seed sown into the soil of your subconscious. By living in the end, you adopted the posture, habits, and decisions of one who already enjoys the role you seek, aligning your daily actions with your highest vision. When a shadow of doubt threatened to dim your progress, you reached for the transformative power of revision, lovingly re-editing past disappointments into stepping stones for growth. You drew inspiration from the wisdom of those who'd mapped the hidden currents of mind and spirit, integrating their practices into a personalized toolkit of affirmations, forgiveness, focus, and mental attunement. And through it all, you remained steadfast, returning daily to your inner workshop, celebrating each small victory, and viewing every moment of consistency as an act of creative devotion. Finally, you learned the art of surrender, trusting that once your intention has been fully formed and felt, the unseen forces at work will guide every piece of the puzzle into place. Now stand ready to receive the fruit of your labors. The role you imagined, the feelings you mastered, and the words you spoke with conviction have already set the wheels of manifestation in motion. As you move forward, let this conclusion be less an ending and more a threshold into the living reality you have claimed. Carry with you the knowledge that you are both artist and canvas, director and audience, author and hero of your own unfolding story. And with that awareness, step into your new chapter, confident that every brushstroke of thought, emotion, and intention has prepared the world to welcome you home.